We're live.
Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth with Smoky Magic Media Live. We are live here on Mountain Fun Life right now, and we're super excited about being able to be in the new studio so you guys can see this setup. We've got an exciting show ahead. I've got somebody on that we met at the Sevier County Fair when we were doing all of our live coverage. So pretty exciting to meet people at the fair and then bring them back onto a show. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, we're going to roll the intro. Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth, owner of Smoky Magic Media, a social media marketing company here in the Smoky Mountains. I'm excited about the show today. Kind of wanted to spotlight somebody here locally, what they're doing with their social media to get their product out. So we've got Brandon here, and he's going to talk to us about his podcast. Thanks for coming on the show, Brandon.
Thank you so much for having me on.
We got to meet Brandon at the Sevier County Fair.
So much fun.
It was really neat. He's with Smoky Mountain Ghostbusters.
The Smoky Mountain Ghostbusters, we're a local children's charity. We do a lot of work with Children's Hospital, autism awareness, things like that.
Wonderful.
We like to dress up and have fun, put smiles on people's faces, and hopefully a few dollars in some charities' pockets.
Yeah, and it was really neat to have you guys there. You were able to be in charge of, essentially, cosplay night.
Oh, man, it was a daunting task, especially with all the weather hazards we had, but we had a really good turnout and everybody had a blast.
A lot of fun, really fantastic costumes for cosplay night also.
I was absolutely blown away. I mean, I have a background in costume making and stuff, but to see other people take found things and make such elaborate costumes is so interesting and fun.
It was really neat to be a part of that experience, and because of going, being able to network then, and now you're here on the show to talk about your podcast, so that's one of the things about community involvement that can be really important.
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit about your podcast, Rants from the Black Lodge. What is it? What's it about? So that people kind of get an idea of what you guys are doing with that.
Okay, well, in broad terms, it's a monthly film commentary podcast centered around cult films. Now, cult film can mean a lot of things. It could be a movie that is well known but has such a dedicated fan base, or it can be, the other kind of cult film, which is like a movie that's so bad that it's just delightfully good. We run the gamut.
Do you have a particular favorite that you like to talk about, or that you find that people really like to get into?
Well, we've been doing this podcast for a year, and over that course of that time, we've covered a variety of different topics. Our middle ground is sort of like horror movies.
Okay.
But we've also done some things with like wrestling movies, which are never good. We've also done some with some music. We did an episode last December for Kissmas.
Oh, cool.
I'm a big fan of Kiss.
That's cool.
And we did the 1978 schlock made-for-television movie Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, and that's kind of the jumping off point from like every other episode from that point, because out of nowhere we started getting views from all around the world, and I don't know what we're doing that's making this work, but Japan, Bangladesh, the Netherlands.
That's awesome.
But no one here in America is listening. So hopefully we're able to.
Yeah, well, maybe after being on this, more people will get to know what you've got going on, and then they'll be listening to the podcast.
Well, that would be great, because if I could turn this into a more ongoing thing, I mean, I would like to do this on a weekly basis, but for
right now it's monthly.
It's a monthly thing, yeah.
Now, to show on the screen here, this is your website. This kind of shows a little bit of what you guys have talked about then.
Our format is that we will take a movie and we will watch along with it. So if you wanted to, you could watch the movie and listen to our commentary over it, but our format is such where that's not a necessity. It's sort of like the icing on top of the cake. In the past few months, we've struck a chord, and like this year was the 25th anniversary of Jason Goes to Hell, a very derisive entry in the long-running Friday the 13th series. I happen to love this movie, but I understand why a lot of people hate it. Well, we got the involvement of the director, and we sat down with him, and we kind of talked some things out. And for our 1-year anniversary, we did Ghostbusters 2. Obviously, Ghostbusters is near and dear to my heart, and we got the actress who played Slimer in that film to participate.
That's wonderful.
And we have a brand new episode that's debuted today, another wrestling-related entry, Ready to Rumble, a David Arquette film from the early 2000s, and we got a gentleman who was a wrestler in the company WCW at that time by the name of Glacier to participate in this episode. So it's been a fun ride, and every month it's kind of like who's going to jump on board.
And do you have plans already for next month?
We have pretty much the next few months planned out. My schedule is hectic towards the latter part of the year, so we kind of have to plan ahead for things. We haven't decided exactly which entry, but for October we're going to be doing Halloween.
Perfect.
So, I mean, the 40th anniversary of the original film, so we absolutely have to do something about that.
That's going to be fantastic. Now, you guys have a Facebook page that people are able to, they can follow along. You post information about the podcast and things you have going on that?
We have a page and a group. They essentially serve the same purpose.
Here's the group on the screen.
By the way,
if you guys want to join the group.
Artwork was done by Joey Gossett Art. I want to give a shout out. He's one of our sponsors.
Awesome.
Yes, he's very, very talented guy, so go check him out on social media.
And his name is?
Joey Gossett.
Fantastic. So check him out on social media, and this is the artwork he's done for your cover photo. Is there other artwork on there?
Absolutely. This is the one he's done. We've discussed some things. We've got some things kind of down the pipeline.
Cool.
But yeah, he's our go-to.
And of course, that's where you were talking about Ghostbusters. So you guys kind of post different updates and everything in the group and on the Facebook page.
Yeah. A lot of it is pertaining to like what we're doing for the month. We have a group poll for like what we're going to be doing, so we kind of put
some insight from others
from what they want to hear from us, which has gone good and bad in the past. When I did the second episode, I actually almost quit because they wanted me to do G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I grew up loving G.I. Joe, and after doing that, I was like, I don't know if I want to continue this, but thankfully I got talked into continuing it, and now we've nailed the format down, and everybody seems to enjoy what we're doing.
That's wonderful, and being able to use social media to keep people updated, you can send them right back to where you've got the podcast going on, and kind of keep everybody engaged. It's really important.
I agree. I think through tips from you and what you're doing with this channel, obviously we're going to make some big changes and consolidate some things into a better formula to get our product out to the people.
And being able to kind of keep track of that, engagement. Okay, you're able to figure out people really like this one compared to this, or they engage more with this type of announcement or this type of format than they did with that. So you're able to kind of give a comparison as you go on. And as you're, posting more podcasts that you're doing and everything.
Well, with my website, I get the analytics monthly. I actually get them on a weekly basis, but I really only check them per month because it's hard to tell, pinpoint what's really trending until I look at it from a bigger perspective. So from that, I've been able to extrapolate a lot of things. But as far as just the Facebook and our Twitter, which is @Rants Black Lodge, please follow us.
We don't have a lot. Black Lodge.
We don't have a lot of followers right now, which is surprising. I mean, I'm not tech savvy at all. One of the other guys involved with the podcast, shout out to Eddie Shepard. He handles all of that.
Awesome.
So he's doing a good job. Not demeaning him in any regard.
Growing engagement when it's something new and getting more followers, it takes time.
It does.
It does take time, and it takes people hearing about it. So if people go follow you guys on Twitter, that'll help, and just getting more people interested. I mean, like we were talking about it before, when you're really interested in something and you kind of geek out over certain things, when you're into it, you are really into it.
Yes.
And you love to connect with other people who are into it just as you are, because it's that family, that where you're able to kind of, you have the same interests, you're like-minded, and I think it helps you enjoy it more when you've got people around
it's a great nerdy camaraderie.
Yes, it is. So something like this is a great way to connect with other people that have similar interests.
Well, I understand that this is a podcast that's probably not going to appeal, across the board to people. But for those who out there who are maybe a little strange, or that have a subsect of of interest,
Yes.
this is something that I think they're really going to enjoy. My involvement in the podcast is sort of like if you watch a football game, you have a play-by-play and you have a color commentator. My role in the podcast is I'm the guy who has all the facts, the dates, the circumstances, and then my other cast of characters. Shout out to, like I said before, Eddie Shepard and Scott Huff and Judd Kelly, good friends of mine. They bring a little more of the comedic stuff, and because we're all real friends and we've hung out for so long, we have a natural banter. So I
Right.
think people
You
just
work
enjoy
well together.
They
Yeah.
enjoy hearing our conversations in regular life, so we've just put it onto
Hey,
a
it
listenable
works. It's
format.
a great idea and a great way of, something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, and you're able to connect with more
absolutely.
people. Now, you said you mentioned a few sponsors. You want to give a shout out to them one more time?
Oh, just like I said before, Joey Gossett Art, cannot thank him enough for the work he's done for our podcast. Von Grimm Productions, they're based out of Nashville. They do really, really high quality Halloween masks. So if you
cool,
want to do
cool.
something that'll blow everybody away for Halloween, check him out. You can find him on Facebook and on Twitter. And NGW Wrestling. They're our biggest sponsor. They've been with us since the very beginning, and I know there are a lot of options around in this area for wrestling. But if I had to, I was a fan of them before this ever came about, and they were giving me money. But if you want to see the absolute best in professional wrestling in this area, NGW will blow everybody out of the water. They just did a big show in Knoxville with Impact Wrestling, and I can't say any more
awesome.
good things about them.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brandon, for coming
thank
on
you.
the show. Hope that everybody kind of goes and checks you out on social media.
Please do.
Facebook, on Twitter, and then there's a Facebook group that you guys can join, and then just obviously listen to the podcast. So thank you again for coming on the
thank
show.
you
I
so much.
appreciated having you on.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This is what can happen, when Mountain Fun Life goes on location. We were on location at the Sevier County Fair. We were able to connect with Smoky Mountain Ghostbusters and meet Brandon. So networking in your community is so important. You can meet new people and kind of figure out what they're doing, how they're using social media to get out to people, and then support them on social media. So thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for more shows today.